Hello everyone. Hello from Sakulli, the Cypriot sack. Today we opened the Sakulli and some crazy questions came out from it. And the craziest of all is about the Cyprus problem. As you know, we only have about a month before the 5+1 conference that is going to take place in Geneva over Cyprus problem. And one of the most crazy questions that come out of the Cyprus problem nowadays is, are we looking for a two-state solution, or are we going to form a federation in Cyprus? Is it going to be a two-state solution, or is it going to be a federation? Now, Mr. Anastasiadis, unfortunately, in 2017 in Crans-Montana, he missed a big opportunity of coming to an agreement with the Turkish Cypriots to form a federal Cyprus, to go and form the federal solution in Cyprus. He knocked the table over. He talked about two states in those days. And how crazy is it that after 3 years, 4 years, now he is talking about a federal solution when Mr. Tatar, who was elected in the north, is talking about a two-state solution. Now, is a two-state solution realistic? Let's look at this from a realistic perspective. Now, two states means that the TRNC, the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, is going to be recognized internationally. And this state then is going to form a solution, an agreement with the Republic of Cyprus. Is that possible? It's not. Because no one is going to recognize the TRNC. And even so, the Greek Cypriots are not going to agree to a solution with another state on the island. So those who insist every day talking about a two-state solution are the ones who never want a solution, period. So Anastasiadis, on the other hand, now he's talking about a federal solution. Where were you 3-4 years ago, Mr. Anastasiadis? Now you know that the other side doesn't want a federal solution. Now you want a federal solution. When Akıncı wanted a federal solution, you were dragging your shoes and you were asking for something else. Now, we as Cypriots should come together and solve the Cyprus problem, because the island belongs to us, the Turkish Cypriots, the Greek Cypriots, the Maronites, the Armenians, and the Latins. But the two main communities, the Turkish Cypriots and Greek Cypriots, should come to terms with each other and should respect their points of view, sit down and come to an agreement over this beautiful island. It's no point coming across saying that you want a two-state solution or you want any other form of solution other than a federal state, means you don't want a solution, period. If you are realistic, if you are genuine, if you want to respect the other community, the only way is to form a federal state. Why am I saying this? Because since 1969, when the intercommunal talks begin, under all the agreements that the two community leaders signed and all the resolutions that the United Nations Security Council have declared, they all talk about a federal state. Now, do we live in a real world? I hope so. if we live in a real world, we don't go and try to, delete everything that we have done up to date and try to find a new way. Now, on the Turkish Cypriot side, there are these people that they say, oh, we have been talking federal state for 50 years, and what's happened? Nothing happened. The Greek Cypriots don't agree with it, so we're not going to talk about federal state anymore. We want a two-state solution, and that's the only way. So one should ask to these people, when did we talk federation? Although the international community and the United Nations were adamant, and they brought us together and they said this is the only way forward, and the international treaties and everything puts us towards a federal solution, we as the Turkish Cypriot leadership, we only sat down to the negotiating table talking federal solution only for maximum 10 years out of the 50. Was Denktash negotiating a federal solution? Although he signed some of the agreements, he never believed in a federal solution. He always wanted a separate state. What about Erol? What about other leaders apart from Mehmet Ali Talat and Mustafa Akıncı? They all wanted other solutions but federal state. So Akıncı and Mehmet Ali Talat were the ones who sat on the table and genuinely talked about federal solution. So it's no point saying we've been negotiating federal solution for 50 years and nothing happened. Now, on the Greek side, the Greek Cypriot leadership also did not want a federal state. If you look at the history of the leadership of the Greek Cypriots, they also were not genuine about a federal state. Now, Christofias was one of the leaders that wanted a solution, a federal state in Cyprus. Anastasiadis, when he first came to power, he was for a federal solution. He also supported Annan plan. But afterwards, we don't know why, but from the pressure that he's getting from his community, perhaps, he's trying to, he's trying to get votes, or he's trying to show that he's respectful for everyone, and he's not standing by his words. So now, hopefully, he said that he wants a federal solution. Now, hopefully, he stands by his words this time. Now, so the two communities, I want to talk about the two communities on the ground. Despite what the leaders are saying, what are the communities doing? That is very, very important. So what are the organizations? What are the, other platforms and other forces in the communities doing? Do we sit on our back and wait for the leaders to solve the Cyprus problem, or are we doing anything? We have to, as the Greek Cypriot and the Turkish Cypriot communities, we have to work to understand each other. We have to do everything possible to bring people together so that they can have communication, they try to understand each other, they try to understand what each other wants. This is very, very, very important. In order for the people to respect each other, first of all, they have to communicate and they have to know how they feel. They have to understand what each other want. So there is a big, big duty upon the organizations, the community platforms, and to bring people together, to use every mean possible to make people communicate, talk with each other, so that they can find out what they want, and also they can influence their leaderships. Now, one of the important things that is being discussed nowadays is also the political equality of the two communities. Now, when we say political equality, we don't only mean the political equality of individuals. Yeah, individually, we all have political rights. We all have rights to live in a country. But apart from that, in Cyprus, there is a consensus that has been identified throughout the negotiations since 1974. It's gone into the United Nations resolutions that the two communities should be politically equal upon a settlement in Cyprus. This is very, very, very important. And both community leaders have signed that they do accept the political equality of the two communities. This is very, very important for a federal solution, for a federal state to carry on without big problems. If the two communities will be treated equally in the state, when during the decision making and other processes, if the two communities try to understand each other and they try to get decisions mutually, then the federal state will live on. Otherwise, if one community tries to suppress the other, or the one community tries to decide without taking into consideration what the other community is thinking, then there is no way a federal solution can live long. So the political equality of the two communities is very, very important, and both sides should try to come to terms with this approach. Now, so we have to respect the international treaties that we signed, because we are living in a world with not only ourselves, we have all other communities around us. So we have to respect that. So hopefully this time when the two communities, Turkey, Greece, and Britain, United Kingdom, they go to this conference, hopefully they sit down and they look at what has been achieved up to date, which we all know that 90% of the Cyprus problem is agreed upon. There are some issues that need to be resolved, like the guarantorship, the state of the military in Cyprus, and also the territories. These are things that need to be, agreed. So there has to be a political will upon the communities, the leaderships, to finish this problem. The communities in Cyprus, Turkish Cypriots and Greek Cypriots, I believe that the majority want a federal solution in Cyprus. And we know that this is the only way out. The only solution that both communities can accept is a federal solution, a bicommunal, bizonal federal solution. All the other proposals, confederation, two-state, and any other put forward means that we don't want a solution. Those who insist on these type of proposals mean that they don't want to solve the Cyprus problem. They have a lot of gain from today's situation, so they want it to carry on. We don't. And we know that the majority of the Cypriot people don't. So let's put pressure upon the leaderships of both sides while going to this 5+1 conference, so that they can acknowledge all the things that we agreed upon up to date, and carry on from there and hopefully solve the Cyprus problem. Either we solve the Cyprus problem and we create a peaceful island in the Mediterranean, or God forbid, there is going to be a war, a conflict, which is not good for anyone, especially our children, the young generation. So again, let's put pressure on our leaders so that when they go there, they don't talk anything but peace.